Oh, hi. Where were we?
So they would never let a black man be Captain America, and if they did, no self-respecting black man would ever want to be. And you just felt Sam's deep, deep conflict.
Yeah.
A guy he just met that looks like him versus someone who he grew to know and love and respect.
Yeah. Identity politics versus experiential politics, I guess.
I don't know, whatever. But you could feel his conflict, but at the same time,
He's Sam. I'll say this, and the movies didn't do this, so I'm glad this show exists. But it's really expounding on Sam having a personality of his own,
and
having his own independent thoughts,
and struggling with the, am I just the black sidekick?
yeah,
And delving into that. And then you've got Bucky, and it's Falcon and Winter Soldier. Not Winter Soldier and Falcon.
sure,
Bucky's kind of the side character.
yeah, he definitely is because he doesn't have a family or anything. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to really spend time on there unless you want to have long shots of him brooding.
Right. And we'll get there. But there was a very thought-invoking exchange. Sam thought so too.
I think
So you
I-
say. So which is it, Isaiah? Stop blaming successful white people? Or so which
Sorry?
is it, Isaiah? Stop blaming successful black people.
Or did I not have an or in there?
No, it's just so which is it, Isaiah? Stop blaming successful black people.
Oh, yeah. So which is it is meaning
Do you want black people to be successful?
Right.
Or do you want them
to succeed, because that was his whole point. If either okay, so he said any self-respecting black man would turn down the shield, or if you accepted it, oh gosh, I can't remember what he said now.
they would never let a black man be Captain America.
Or if they did, no self-respecting black man would take it. Basically saying, blacks can't be successful. That was Isaiah's point. Like, what?
And again, he's been through hell and back.
Yeah.
He can't see.
And I'm not saying the show was adopting his point, and I understand.
Oh, it definitely wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And I sort of I understand why we have to respect his point of view. But it's like, what do you want, Isaiah? So,
Do you want the black man to be successful, or do you want the black man to be dominant?
he didn't even give an option for that.
No. Not even that.
Yeah. They're never going to let you be successful. Or if they let you be successful, then you should turn it down. So you just...
He's the BLM. Like,
Yeah.
the BLM, from what I can see, isn't looking for equality. They're looking for dominance.
Or they're looking to play the victim card forever.
Or, well, yeah, actually, yeah, that too. And let's...
And I do not equate blacks with BLM, by the way.
Right. I am appalled at our history. Our history being American history.
Right.
I am. It's disgusting. It's... No single person should ever be subject to another person. Insofar as, slavery, or, you know, you're doing this work for me, but you don't get paid, or, yeah, I'm going to pay you, but I'm going to lord my dominance over you because you are lesser because of your skin color. Like, that's disgusting to me.
On a personal level, yes. America was sold black slaves by black slave masters. And they had a culture of slaves are a thing. So let's buy slaves from the people who are selling slaves at the cheapest price. And now we have slaves. It's so hard. It's so hard to understand the thought process of slave ownership at that time. But at that time, it actually wasn't racially based.
No, because you had your Irish, too.
Yeah.
But
they bought black slaves from black masters. But in America, they started going, we have only white people owning only black people. This seems pretty fucked up. Let's fix this. And it took a lot, but they fixed it. It took a lot, but they fixed it. So there's these lingering feelings that it is racially based, and it was always racially based. It wasn't, but there was a very easily identifiable thing defining the owners and the slaves, masters and the slaves, whatever you want to call them. And that's lingering.
To this very day.
Very much so. But I don't think that it's hyped up in the way that Isaiah is hyping it up. I guess these lingering feelings are passed down from generation to generation. And you end up with a bunch of people who are being told one thing and are experiencing another thing. And they're left going, I'm supposed to be higher than this person, or I'm supposed to be lower than this person. I don't feel it, but I'm feeling conflicted because of what my parents said. It's still fucked up, but it's so hard to point the finger at any particular person. So, yeah, I take issue with what Isaiah said, because he's basically saying, if you're successful, then you're not a self-respecting black man. Which is like this self-subvervient, whatever kind of word, where it's like, blacks aren't allowed to be successful because then they're not a self-respecting black man. Or woman. What do you want?
Tell me what you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard, and I just have to keep going back to, we are all made in the image and likeness of God. Every single person that is alive on this earth. I don't want to say predestined, but was created by God. The good, the bad. We all have free will.
Judge a person by their actions, or not at all. Either way.
Anyway. So, Sam calls Sarah, tells him that he's going to come home. So he goes back, and he's talking to his nephews, and they're like, oh yeah, even, Mr. Dim won't take the boat. Yeah, he said that in Vietnamese or something. And, the kids can understand Vietnamese? Maybe Young Avenger
Maybe.
generation?
Maybe.
But Sarah's like, yeah, Mr. Dim backed out. Like, it's going to cost us more to fix the boat in order to sell it than we would actually get for it. But then she's sending the boys off to school, and she's like, make sure so-and-so and so-and-so get theirs too. And Sam was like...
Still feeding the neighborhood, huh?
Yeah, and she's like, well, their dad doesn't get up before noon, and they've been going hungry. And he's like, you're like Mom. Always making sure that all the kids in the neighborhood were fed.
I'll get back to you on that.
How many of the people in our neighborhood feel like they might owe our parents?
Mom and Dad. Yeah.
Mom and Dad. And then there's this beautiful sequence.
Gorgeous. Loved it.
Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Community coming together. And honestly, like, Sarah actually reminds me, in that scene, she reminded me a lot of Suzanne.
Sure.
Like, my friend's mom.
Yeah. Giving till it hurts. And beyond.
And it's hurting bad. I'll tell you later. So a lot of people in their neighborhood owe Sam and Sarah's parents for all the help, so Sam calls in favors from the community. They all pitch in to fix the goat.
Yes, they pitched in to fix their goat. It was buying wrong, and they decided to fix it.
Bucky shows up and drops off the wings. You noticed that it was the wings first. I was like, maybe he has something to help fix the boat.
Oh, no, I assumed it was the wings.
Oh, no.
And we never actually technically saw it, but
no,
I think it was.
But that was the favor from the Wakandans. And then there's this great little thing. Or Sam.
Which you caught and I didn't because I was typing.
So Sam sees Sarah and he's like, "Hi, I'm Bucky," and he says, "Bucky, hey, I'm Bucky," and Sarah's like,
"Hi."
Hi.
They have this lingering smile.
And then, like, later there's a little, "Hi, Sarah." And Sam's just like, and I'm like, I'm shipping this so hard. Shipping it. Bucky helps fix the boat. Why didn't you use the metal arm? I don't always think about it. I'm right-handed.
Yeah, they're like fixing a steam thing, and Bucky's, using a wrench and fixing it, and Sam's just like, "Why don't you just use your metal arm?" Oh, I don't always think about it. I'm right-handed. It was like,
and this series, this montage, whatever you want to call it, like this is Sam and Bucky finally like getting on equal footing and not seeing each other as adversaries or
these are the scenes
like
we're here for.
Awkward, like we have mutual friends thing. Like, no, that there's mutual respect. It's the whole scene was just beautiful.
It's great.
Boat fixing montage. Bucky showing off. Awesome.
Very much so, yeah. It was just like randomly lifting crates and just like tossing them when Sam's working on them. And
yeah. So he's like, "Oh, I'll use my arm." You sit back there.
Got it.
So then they're sharing a beer after the work is done, and Bucky's like, "Well, yeah, I've got a flight in the morning, but I'll go to a hotel." And Sam's just like, "Don't do that. We're a very friendly neighborhood. Stay with us, but don't flirt with my sister." He's like, "I'll chop you up, feed you the fish." And I loved it. And Bucky's just like, "Okay."
Okay.
Like, dude, she started flirting first.
Yeah, she started it.
She started it. And it's interesting that his potential love interests have been people of color.
Sure, the
Asian chick.
The Asian bartender.
Leah, apparently.
And now Sarah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the community. that's the company he's keeping.
Oh, yeah, White Wolf and,
Yeah.
Whatever prejudices he may have inadvertently had in the 40s is
very much gone.
Wiped out with
all of his life experiences since he's stopped being Winter Soldier.
And who was there to help him. I also kind of ship Ayo and Bucky a little bit. Just, but, I mean, that makes sense. Like, why he would...
You're attracted to people who help you? What?
What? Regardless of skin color? What?
No, can't have that.
But no, yeah, I ship it hard. I'm sorry, Sam. Sorry.
Also, I kind of ship it because I enjoy your reactions.
Me? Mine?
Well, no, Sam's.
Oh, okay. And cut to John. Oh, that's right, this scene. He's talking to Lamar's parents.
Right.
He tells them the guy that killed Lamar is the one that he killed. Liar! Boo. Boo, liar. Boo.
Boo. But he seemed to think that was the case, though, when he was killing the guy. So I hesitated when you said, "Oh, you liar," because I was like, he seemed to think it was true. I'm not justifying what he did, but I thought he did think that.
But Sam and Bucky told him.
What did they tell him?
They said, I thought, oh, I'm having a Mandela effect. I thought they had said that wasn't, no, that wasn't the one who killed Lamar. That was Carly. Like, I thought they said that.
I know they didn't say that was Carly. But if they said he wasn't the one, I can't remember the language they used. Like, I don't know if they said that's not the way or...
Okay.
That's not...
Okay.
I'm positive they didn't say it was Carly that killed him. But I'm not sure what they said. So I'm not convinced he doesn't actually think that guy killed Lamar.
Because they were all masked.
Right.
And of course, why would you think a woman was the one that did that?
Yeah.
So you say, is he lying or does he really believe that? My parents love him, but there was another girl who I assume was Lamar's sister.
Yeah.
Maybe girlfriend, but probably sister.
Probably sister.
And the looks she was giving him.
Yeah.
She was not buying his. She wasn't buying it. Like, there was definitely a. I don't know her name.
Mm.
I don't even know what her relation was exactly, but.
And from the parents' for the parents, it was actually a very touching scene. Like, they were, he always spoke so highly of you, and thank you for being there for him. And
yeah, but she was just giving him this look like, nah, dog.
No, you made this happen. Like,
there was vitriol in her look.
Yeah.
And again, just showing how great this show was. It was so subtle. Mm-hmm. But it was so there.
Oh my gosh, it was so there.
Cut to Sharon. She's arguing on the phone with a French dude. He said selling art. But she said, like, I got you out of the Algerian prison.
And I totally missed that, so disregard what I typed.
Yeah, so he's like, the guy she's talking to on the phone's like yelling at her, and she's just, okay. And then I don't know if she said something like, I've got a job for you, or something. But there was definitely a you owe me thing.
Okay.
Algerian.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, cut back to Bucky. The kids are playing with the shield, and Bucky's on the couch.
He
waking
ended up
up.
sleeping at Sam's place.
Waking up on the couch and seeing the kids fighting with the shield.
Right.
He's like, hey. And they put the shield down. And there wasn't like a... It was a...
Tee-hee.
Tee-hee, run away. Like an Isaac. Tee-hee. I run away now. And I said, as they were running away, Bucky had this very beautiful look on his face, like a reminiscent look. And I like to think that he was thinking of his childhood with Steve.
He always got the feeling they were friends from childhood.
Yes.
Yeah. And none of it's expressed, but it's kind of one of those... You can imagine what you want about what he's thinking, but it was just a well-acted kind of knowing smile.
Yeah,
it was
and
nice.
There was no awkwardness, like, oh, there's this white guy lying on my couch, or,
right.
like, you know...
No, it was just
an adult saying, hey, what's going on?
Yeah. An adult and kids playing with his stuff, and he's just kind of like, hey. I remember that.
Yeah. It wasn't a, hey, tee-hee.
Yeah.
Run away.
It was great.
Yeah. Again, beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, so then he joins up with Sam, and they're, like, fixing water pumps and stuff, and Sarah comes up, and she's like, I told you it wasn't the water pumps. Stop it. Go away. She kicks him off the boat because they're fixing it wrong, and Bucky's like, all right. Again, with the flirting thing, like, it was all him.
Yep.
Then we get to the trailerific shield throwing practice. The shield into the tree.
Thunk.
And they're doing the frisbee thing, and they each keep catching it perfectly. We get confirmation that Steve did tell Bucky about his plan to go back, because Bucky talks about it.
Yeah.
And then Bucky apologizes for not understanding the implications of a black man being handed the shield. Again, it was a really moving scene. And Sam didn't play the victim.
No, he didn't.
He honestly threw it back at Bucky. It's like, stop looking to other people to tell you who you are.
Yeah.
Advice that he needs to take himself.
Well, advice that I think he did take himself, because...
But at the time, no, because there's still that other conversation that he has with Sarah.
Sure. And Sarah basically says that to him.
Yes.
Sure, okay.
I'm loving this. Absolutely. It's making me think, but it's not bombarding me with an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
It is done so perfectly. Like, it makes me want to cry. It's so perfect.
I'm very surprised. Because of what, mainstream media told me the show was going to be, based on what it is. Which is two very different things.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So then Sam says to Bucky, are you ready for some tough love?
Right.
Because Bucky's basically saying, like, I can't even remember, like, what led to Sam saying that. But Sam tells him, stop looking to other... Oh, wait. Oh, about the book. Oh, that's right. Sam was like, you got the shield. I got the book. And Sam tells Bucky, you weren't amending. You were avenging. Hashtag Avengers. Basically, apologize to someone you've wronged. Be of service. Which means he's got to confront his demons with... I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, I can't remember him either, but
the
Asian guy that he's befriended because he killed his son. Who he's trying to help. He befriended him, but
he can't
admit what happened.
He hasn't admitted, and he has to, because this is like the one person that we know of that he can't avenge.
Right. All the other people on his list so far.
Well, because you didn't write it down, but Sam was like, I think what he actually said was, you weren't amending, you were avenging. He said something to the effect of, how many people on your list can you amend with, or something to that effect? And Bucky says, about 12.
Oh, I totally missed it. Okay.
It's basically saying, yeah, there are other people on this list that don't need avenging. And Sam says, start with one.
Yeah.
And we know what that one is.
Yeah.
One of the other ones, it's got to be Tony.
Yeah.
And we had talked about that before, where he can't make amends with Tony.
Right.
But he can make amends with Morgan.
Lead us into another show, perhaps.
I want the last episode to end with Bucky walking into their secluded, Tony and Pepper's secluded cabin.
Yeah.
And having Gwyneth Paltrow walk out, and
yeah,
that's how I want this season to end.
That would be absolute perfection, and I assume it won't happen.
Right. Basically, apologize to someone you've wronged. Be of service. They part ways. Funny conversation about being coworkers.
Yeah, just more character building.
Yeah.
Which is good.
And then you got Sam and Sarah. They're about to paint the boat, like paint over Paul and Darlene. And Sarah says, no, we can't. We can't sell the boat. Sam says Sarah thought he was running away to save the world. Sarah said, bro, she's like, I never thought you were running away. Like, you've taken them both on, the outside world and our world.
Yeah.
Again, a beautiful scene.
Yeah. Very understanding. Sarah is an awesome character. Love her.
Like, there has not been any missteps in this series at all.
No. Anything that I thought was a misstep has been subsequently corrected by following scenes where the characters actually critically analyze their conversation and, like, have their own take on it. Like, it's been really good.
I'm still disappointed with the ending of WandaVision.
And that wasn't a political or anything. It was a Marvel defaulting to their what they know works.
Yeah. And I'm thinking back on it, like, I've gone back and forth on it. WandaVision was still a really, really good show. Even the last episode is way better than a lot of last episodes I've seen of shows or seasons or whatever. It was
a departure.
It was a departure. They were trying to cram a lot of stuff, and they left way too much open.
Yeah.
Which they are so careful with these shows and movies now. Like, you're not going to get another Iron Man 3 or Thor the Dark World or, like, I think the last bad Marvel movie was one of those two. And then they caught on, like, nope, we've got to do better.
Yeah.
So, as unsatisfied as I was with the end of WandaVision,
there wasn't enough left for a second season, but it needed more than the number of episodes they had for it.
and again, Corona could have played a
Could have
part.
been a factor, sure.
But anyway. So we got more S.H.I.E.L.D. practice solo with Sam, and he's just failing, which I said before, like, he and Bucky working together, it was like perfection, right? Then Bucky leaves, and Sam is just struggling, like he can't catch it like he was with Bucky. That's very interesting to me.
I missed it because, again, I was typing away.
But because montage, he does get to the point where he gets it without Bucky.
Yeah.
Because that first scene with Bucky when they're playing with the shield, or practicing with shield or whatever, it was perfection. He was throwing it and catching it without any issues. Bucky leaves, and all of a sudden he is struggling.
Well, and Bucky was catching it part of the time. So.
But they were switching off.
They were switching off, but no Bucky, and the ones that Bucky would have caught are being missed.
So he and Sarah are talking again, and she says, well, the gist is basically said Isaiah has a point, but he can't define you. Only you can. Training montage, his nephew's admiring the shield, which, again, beautiful moment. Because that's so... It's such an antithesis to what Isaiah was telling him.
Right.
You got these young black boys. And I know maybe it's because it's their uncle that has the shield right now, but they're young black men and they don't care.
They don't care.
It's the shield.
They're admiring who he is.
Yeah. So,
and the symbol, but they don't care that it... They're not sitting there going, oh, but it's white man's shield.
Exactly.
They have hero worship because of who Steve was and because of who Sam is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what we need.
And then we've got Sam mastering the shield without super soldier serum. He's got it. So cut to Carly talking to her Asian goon, who I don't know his name, but it's the one that's like
not entirely down with her process.
Yeah. I got some help. And the guy that walks up is who we think was the former Hydra agent who was in the elevator with Steve in that infamous scene from Winter Soldier. And who I also think was who Sharon was talking to on the phone. So I think it was a plant.
So you're thinking it was a plant. Because even he's like, I'm not here to support your movement.
I want Falcon.
Yeah, I just want Falcon. And she's like, you'll get your chance, and says, we make our move tonight.
Yeah. So then her Asian goon, whatever, is like, so we're working with criminals now? Which, again, really highlights, like, he's thinking, like, he's way in over his head. Like, he's not really on board with this.
Which makes sense. I mean, she was selling one thing, but she's doing another.
That serum, though.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Carly's a really interesting character to...
Because you can sympathize with her. Again, it's the BLM thing. Like, I sympathize, but when you do what you're doing...
Right.
That's not...
exactly what Sam said to Carly, which, again, was fascinating. Sorry, but coming from a black man, saying that to Carly, juxtaposed with what the BLM movement is doing, it was fascinating to see. In this exact time, in this exact place, oh man, I love it.
I'm surprised they're able to get away with that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
So Carly says she's testing him, who we think is the Hydra agent.
Right.
He's only here to kill the Falcon. Tonight we go to battle. We get the GRC voting on the Patch Act to move refugees back to their home country, which... why is that a bad thing? But that senator guy is like... like the one that handed this shield over to John Walker.
Yeah.
He's like fighting it, and everyone's all like,
Well, because they're refugees, I guess. So,
So there's your political.
Yeah.
Torres sends Sam a message that something is coming from New York. Says he'll take it from
totally
here.
missed that. Torres communicated with Sam.
He's like, the Flag Smashers signal has mostly been coming from Europe, but now it's coming from New York.
Okay, and he was like, could it be a VPN? Well, maybe, but...
And Sam was like, nope. I know what this is.
Okay, that's what that was.
I'll take it from here. Flag Smashers crashed the veto party, and they did a very Hydra thing. He's like, one world. Like they do. Hell Hydra, sure.
So all their equipment gets shut down and things go dark, but then it kind of cuts away.
Yeah, and then Sam opens the box, which presumably now holds his vibranium wings. And done. And then we have an after credits. John Walker building his own shield.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I so appreciate this show because it really has helped me move past this us versus them thing. Disney Plus has a lot of issues.
Disney has a lot of issues.
Yeah, well, and they're rolling out this, like, a series of 6 short films. I saw a little trailer about it. It seems mostly harmless, but there's one that is clearly trying to be like a transgender thing. It's called The Little Prince in pink letters with parentheses over S. Little boy playing, ballet, whatever, which is fine. Like, boys are allowed to dance ballet,
but
it's that Prince.
But
S.
the implication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, So they do stuff like that, but then they do stuff like this, which is
Well, they're not the writers. The writer, as with always, show writers do what they can to escape the censors and, dodge the producers and whatnot. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier, from what I can tell, is doing a really good job with their story and their characters and their message, which I'm not somebody who applauds a message, but I find no fault in it right now.
Yeah.
But I think they might be enabled by the mainstream media saying Falcon Winter Soldier is such a great progressive show, and so Disney's going like, okay, great, but really it's actually just thought-provoking.
At the same time, they could be doing this because they may have painted themselves into a corner with Steve Rogers being who he is.
A successful white man.
A white man who is sympathetic to all people.
Nah.
But I don't get that.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there as a...
Everybody aside from Isaiah is only talking about Steve Rogers as a good person. And Isaiah, again...
Well, what about Carly, though?
I don't know what Carly's thoughts on Steve Rogers are. She just hates the icon. She hates the concept of a hero.
That's what she's trying to be.
I actually don't get a lot of clout chasing from Carly. She wants to destroy everything, but I haven't gotten a desire for recognition from her.
She wears the mask. More so because she doesn't want to get caught.
Yeah.
But she wants her movement to be recognized.
She does want that.
And, again, Steve Rogers, that...
Yeah, he was
a patriot, but...
He wasn't trying to champion any kind of message at all.
No, he was just...
He was using his own conscience
He was fighting for justice.
Yeah, what he recognized to be justice.
Carly thinks she's doing that.
She thinks so. She's not.
Because, again, Steve Rogers would never blow up a building with people inside of it, no matter if they were Nazis or not.
Yeah.
Well, all those buildings they took down.
I may be a total hypocrite here by saying wartime is different.
I mean, we're talking about the Nazis who were extinguishing blacks and Jews and Catholics and gays and everyone who wasn't Aryan white.
Sure, but I mean, that's the same protective shield that current movements use. Well, they're right wing, so they hated all of these people, so they can be killed. Steve Rogers, to my knowledge, didn't blow up a building full of tied up people. You know what I mean?
No, he went into a building and would blow it up, but he wouldn't tie up anyone.
Right. He wouldn't leave anyone to die if he could help it. He would blow up a strategic facility
and pray that there was no one in there.
Kinda, yeah. Anyhow, we're probably at like an hour and a half worth of analysis on this episode.
And we still got only one more left, and then we've got to wait until June for Loki. Which is going to be equally amazing.
Yep. Clearly.
All right.
Good?
Good. Gotta call it.
Till next time.